Hello everybody and welcome back to Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson, and this Away with Wesley video. And today we are out in the Alnarp Park garden here, and this is a lovely huge area with lots of different garden areas and designs and parks, and it's home to the Swedish University of Agriculture. And today I want to take you around while I'm looking at all the different kind of plants that give winter interest. So that will be a lot of evergreen plants, a lot of conifers and all sorts of different types of plants. But I just want to take you for a wander around. Today I was out for a walk with my husband and I thought, well, I might as well capture this moment and show you all what we're looking at as we go around. So I thank you, Joachim, for filming me. This is kind of a vlog style video. So we'll go around, and most of all these plants have tags on them, so I don't need to put the names on the screen myself. We will just film the plants and film the tags they have about the different types of plants you can use in your garden in the winter time to have winter interest all year round. Now, it's the middle of January at the moment here, 2022, and well, let's just get on with this. So the way we're going to do this is Joachim is going to film me sometimes as I go around, and then I'll go behind the camera and film the plants myself so I can show you all the different tags and the different beautiful plants that they have here at Alnarp Park. This is the south of Sweden, and the Swedish zones, it's zone 1 to 2 approximately. So these kind of plants do very well down here, and many of them can be used all the way up to the top of Sweden, depending on, the plant, of course. But let's go and have a look what we can find. So down here, look at this lovely low growing plant. This is the tag. And as we look at the plant, it's got this lovely small bristling leaves. Look at this. It's a lovely plant. Bristly but soft, so it's not harsh on the fingers. And look how wonderfully you can use it around perennial bushes and so forth in the garden. Another plant with a different form of leaf. These are longer, or longer stems I should say, it looks like here. And if we uncover the name down here, we can see what it is. There you go, that's the name of this beautiful plant. A mounding plant, looks absolutely wonderful. So as we go around the corner here, there are many more plants with either green needles or leaves, and this one here looks quite interesting. Little bush down here, and then there's a ground cover down here. I like the shape of these small leaves down here. You can see this one, that is lovely little plant. Look at the size of the leaves compared to my fingers, really pretty. Nice ground cover. And then as we carry on over here, there are even more green plants. So another plant that looks wonderful during the winter, Mahonia. And these usually get yellow flowers on them later in the season. Very beautiful. And look at this bush. Now this looks more exotic, and this is definitely something that I at some point want to have in my garden. Look at this, gorgeous. A lovely variegated plant, and you can see it keeps its variegation and it keeps its leaves all winter. That is beautiful. And then what do we have down here? Yes, we have a plant that we all know and love. Boxwood. Boxwood is absolutely beautiful all year round, and there are different varieties. Some have rounder leaves, some have thinner leaves. So there are different types, and they can also be shaped and formed. And then look at this big, tall, beautiful tree growing here. Again, these lovely leaves, they're soft and It's really nice that these trees and bushes have their scientific names and the variety, and because we're in Sweden they have their Swedish names on them, but all you need is the scientific name, and then you can go and find the common names yourself. The scientific name is the name that's important, so that wherever we are in the world we know we're talking about the same plant, right? This is absolutely beautiful and shiny. So we can carry on down this pathway here, and let's have a look here. So look at this lovely holly bush, and it has these lovely red berries on it. It has a lot more here, absolutely beautiful, and some down there. This is lovely, and we all know that they work in the garden during the winter months, and this one seems like it spreads out a lot, but can obviously be pruned if you wish. So that's very beautiful too. And then we come over to this bush here, another different type of foliage, soft again, and look at the seed pods on this one, aren't they interesting? I do love that. There are a lot up here at the top. So here we have a juniper bush, a creeping juniper bush that mounds, and it's growing all along the edge here. Look at this on the edge, absolutely beautiful. And then down here something completely different. Look at this. I do like these leaves. And this is thick and mounding. Look how it creeps and mounds on the ground here. So if I go back a little bit, what a beautiful evergreen plant. Very nice. And then we have another one that is taller here, but still green. Really nice. So now I've found another ground covering plant. Look at this beautiful plant. An interesting stem leaf work here. Very unusual. I wouldn't mind some of this in my garden. And then we have another huge creeping juniper. This one. It's this name, and look at the stem on this. It's a beautiful mature stem, and how it mounds and piles out over the edge and down to the front and all the way out to the side over here. You can see how it extends out. Just want to show you the whole thing. And there we have Joachim in the background. Wave, Joachim. Absolutely beautiful. Junipers, they work so well as winter interest plants. And this one has spread out in front of this other bush here that looks absolutely gorgeous. Look at these leaves. They're a smaller type, and they have this yellowish glow and this green glow. They're more yellow underneath. When I turn them upside down, they're more yellow, and then greener on top. Isn't that just stunning? You can see how that's growing out here. And there was a little bird, I think it was a little robin, that flew out in the background there. Really lovely. So as we've already seen, there are so many different types of plants that you can have for winter interest. Creeping plants, mounding plants, plants that grow up into taller bushes or taller trees, plants with all sorts of different foliage and shapes and forms. So that's what you want when you create a winter interest garden. Different shapes and forms, lovely plants like this. And when they mature out, the effect is just amazing. And most of them are very easy to clip and form. You can trim them. You can take cuttings of these plants, stem cuttings, and put them in pots and they will grow out if you're lucky and you have the right conditions. But no, usually it's quite easy to take cuttings from a lot of these evergreen plants, so that's really, really good too. And then you can spread them out in different areas of your garden and around and about where they work best. So now we've come to another corner here in Alnarp Park, and here behind me is an area where they have lots of different types of bamboo plants. Bamboo are a type of grass and they can grow all sorts of different heights, and there are so many of them that are evergreen. So this is an absolutely wonderful place to show you all the different types of bamboos. And if you look at the wonderful building behind me here, you can see, look at the wonderful interest along the edge of this building here. The ivy that's growing up along the side here, and the laurel bushes I think down here at the front, and all sorts of different things growing on around the building. Isn't that wonderful? Let's go in for a closer look at all of these. So if we start by looking in here, you can see this lovely laurel bush, and above that we have ivy growing up. Look at that, beautiful. And more laurel bushes down here. Really looks beautiful up against the side of a building like this. And look at the collage in the glass of the trees behind. That's also very beautiful. Love this. So let's carry on around the corner here and have a look at the different types of bamboos they have growing here. Look at this lovely corner of evergreen plants. So many different types of bamboo you can choose from. For example, this first one here. And I have this one in my garden, so I'm really happy about that. This can get to 3 meters high or so, I'm sure. So this is a beautiful stand. And they have kind of smaller leaves on them. Traditional green style. And then look at this stand of bamboo behind me here. A completely different shape of leaf, much thicker leaves, much bigger leaves. Really lovely. I'd love to have this in my garden. Look how wonderfully it grows out as a mound and extends around the bottom of this tree here in a thick, big, mounding bush. Absolutely wonderful. And I'm hoping at some point in a moment we'll find the tag. Yes, we have the tag here, so we can see the name. Now that is a beautiful bamboo. Do like that. And then we have a huge stand of bamboo here. Look how tall this is. Absolutely wonderful. Hanging out over the edges of this wooden frame. They've put it in to keep them up so they don't blow down or anything like that. And the tag is here. So let's have a look what they're called. So that's these. And listen to the rustling of the leaves and the stems. Absolutely beautiful sound in the winter months. And look at the stems, they're quite thick, very solid. Really nice bamboo. And then over here we have another variety that has a lovely colour to the canes. And this is also very tall. Must be at least 5 meters, 4 or 5 meters tall. Very, very tall. And the canes on this are a lighter yellow colour. Look at those. Now that's a contrast to the ones we just saw over there. Look at these bright yellow canes. Gorgeous. And again, they're quite thick, and this is their name. So these are really wonderful, beautiful, big, tall bamboos. You need a lot of space if you're going to have a bamboo plant like this. And then there's another one down here that has variegated leaves. What a beautiful variety. How often do you see a variegated bamboo? Look at that. And this one has a completely white leaf. Look at the shape and the colour. Absolutely gorgeous. I hope we can find the tag on this one somewhere so we can get the name. Beautiful stand of bamboo. I can see a name, but I'm wondering if it's the tree or if it's the bamboo. So this is the name of this bamboo here. Absolutely gorgeous. So let's go and have a look at the next bamboo. Here we have another bamboo, another huge growing variety. And this one again has green stems, but they're again very thick. And we've got the name here. It's the name of this one. And look at the size of the canes on this one. Really big, really thick. Lovely. So look how much winter interest you can have with bamboos in your garden. And the different varieties and the different colours. I would really love some of this yellow one and some of the variegated one. And then there's a lovely big evergreen tree that looks like a big bush here. Another type of taxus. And then we can carry on here because there are even more bamboo varieties here. It doesn't just end there. If we go over to the edge here, we can see some bamboo varieties that have black stems. Now these are also a good 4 to 5 meters tall or so. Very tall. Let's have a look at their name. Here we go. This is the variety of bamboo that I've just planted in my garden. I did a video on that, so you can go back and see that video. And now you can see what the stems will look like when the plant matures. So usually the canes come out on this plant at first green for the first year or two, and then as they mature they turn black. And you can see there's a cane here at the back that's green, so that must have been one of the ones that came out this year or 2 years ago. And there are canes at the back you can see here that are turning black. But look at these stems. That's just amazing with the black colour. Absolutely gorgeous. So we saw yellow canes, and now we've seen black canes, and of course we've seen plenty of green canes. And this is to show how tall and big they're going to get. So in my garden I will have trees, but of course you can always prune back and let new canes grow out and keep them in control. But that's absolutely beautiful. And the thing about these canes is they do get leaves all the way up, but if you want to keep the canes clear so you can see the coloration, well then you just prune off all the lower leaves and stems, and then you would keep the cane work clear so you can appreciate them. So let's carry on now, because there are a few more bamboos I want to show you here. Here we have another one with a yellow cane, but this one is so special because it's not just yellow, it has green streaks in the cane work. So if you look here, you can see it's yellow and then green streaks come up. See if I can find a better area to show it. But we go all the way around here, and again this is another kind of bamboo that gets really big and tall. Look at these, listen to that lovely rustling sound. Really gorgeous. See, I need to find the tag somewhere so we can see what they are. There's one here that's fallen down. And because they get so tall, they've put these wooden fences around to stop them from snapping, just like you can see this one here has done. And also, it helps to show the area where they want to let the bamboos carry on growing so that they don't spread out too far with their rhizomes, because many of these bamboos will just spread anywhere and everywhere if allowed. Look at these canes here. Now, aren't these just gorgeous as winter interest? So amazing. So I just found a tag here on another stand of bamboo that look like they're exactly the same as the ones I just showed you. Again, yellow stems and the green stripe in them. So if I go back, you can see that's these bamboo here. Again, very tall, very beautiful. And then the ones I was showing you just before, which I didn't find a tag on specifically, so they could be a different variety, but they look very close to these ones. But now we have the name of these ones. And then here there's a stand of low growing bamboos growing around a tree here that are also beautiful. So this shows you can have tall growing bamboos, you can have low growing bamboo, lots of different types. Look how beautiful they look around this tree here. That's just amazing to look at. Really enjoying the look of this. I'll have to get some of these in my garden. And they have a slight variegation on the edge of some of the leaves, and then some of the leaves are much more green. So this is a variegated variety again, but not as much as the other one we saw just before. And unfortunately, I cannot find a tag on this one. Now I've been all the way around the stand. It's lost in the mountain of bamboo somewhere. Look at the shape of this tree as well for winter interest. The forms of all the branches. It's absolutely gorgeous. So eventually I found the name of this bamboo hiding in here. So there's the name of this wonderful low growing bamboo here. hiding in there amongst all of this. No wonder I couldn't find it that easily. All the different bamboos and the structure of this garden here is gorgeous. How inspiring. So here we have another variety of the black caned bamboo. We have the name here, and you can see once again that the canes turn dark, almost black, as they grow out, and once again the bush gets very, very tall. So even the black caned bamboo have different varieties. Look in here. Beautiful. So just remember, if you want to plant bamboos in your garden, you can see different varieties can get huge and they can easily take over an area by spreading with their rhizomes very quickly and easily. So many of these varieties are not suitable for being planted in a smaller town garden, city garden, where you have a fence between gardens, because they will escape and start growing up in your neighbour's gardens or other plots of land, or spread out in your garden if you don't keep them in control. So they're wonderful, but just remember, they need to be kept tamed. So now I'm about to enter the bushes and trees segment of Alnarp Park here, and there are all sorts of wonderful evergreen trees and bushes here to have a look at. And look at this one to start with, a lovely pine tree, and this has quite big needles on it. Lovely. Lots of other different types. Look at the lovely cones on this tree here. Oh, I do love that. And here we have another beautiful pine tree. Look at this, and look at the trunks of this tree. Isn't that exquisite to look at in the garden? Wow. And you can see all the way up in under the canopy. It's just amazing. And there are many more bushes and things hiding in here. So we have one here. And what's this called? These leaves. Lovely. And this is, we can get the tag out here. There we go. Cypress tree. All the way up there. And then look at the variegation on this beautiful bush. This has really grown up, up, up into a big, tall, beautiful tree. Look at this, all the way up there. Wonderful. And it's growing in mixed amongst all sorts of other plants. See what the name of this is. So this is a bush that has actually grown up into the other tree behind, which is supporting it all the way up here. Usually you'll find these lower growing in gardens, but this has been here obviously a very long time and has grown up into the tree behind. And you can see that if you look here at, for example, this stem here. It's grown up and it is clinging on to the branches and trunks of the tree behind. All the way up. That's amazing. Amazing plant. And then look at the wonderful needles on this tree. They're soft and same color on the top and bottom. Beautiful. And this is the name of it here. Lovely trunk. Growing up beautifully here. Lots more evergreens here. You can see another bush over here that looks like a taxus. Nice big soft leaves. Yep, Taxus baccata. Lovely. Look at this beautiful column here. Really nice. And then look at this bush here in bright yellow coloration. What a gorgeous bush. That is lovely. And down here we have its name. Really gorgeous. Again, you can see this often in people's gardens, lower growing, but as you can see, when it's allowed to mature, the bush can get really big and it can support itself by climbing up other plants. But what a beautiful statement to have this coloration in the garden too. And then behind that we have a lovely tall pine tree growing up there. And then here we have another type of taxus, a yew bush. This one seems to have smaller leaves than the last one we looked at. It's absolutely beautiful. Now they've planted another little pine tree down here with smaller needles than the one we saw before. That's lovely, it's cute. And then look at this cascade of that same bush we just looked at before, growing in amongst everything down here and then all the way up there. That is so beautiful. I do like that. I really don't feel like it's the middle of January in the south of Sweden as I walk around amongst all these beautiful evergreen bushes. Look at this powder puff. Wow, that's growing in a beautiful style. And here we have the name. Thuja occidentalis, little giant. That is absolutely wonderful. I do like that little ball. You can see there are so many more. And then look at this amazing plant here. This is a bit unusual. The leaves on this one, they're not spiky, but they're much bigger than on a yew, for example, even though it looks like that. That's amazing. And it also reminds me of the monkey puzzle tree, Araucaria araucana. But these are gorgeous. What's the name of this? That's the name of this plant. Wow. That is stunning. I really would like to get me an example of this. And look at these beautiful cones growing inside. And look here, it has all these cones growing on it. That's wonderful. I really like this. I'm going to have to get myself one of these. I've actually never seen this before. So beautiful. You can see it browns out in the middle here. And that happens with a lot of conifers and evergreen plants, different types of plants that are evergreen, because the inside of the plant maybe doesn't get as much air, doesn't get as much light, and then the needles and the leaves start to fall off. They brown out and fall off because they're a waste of energy for the plant. And it's good when they fall off because then you get more airflow through the plant, more light, and that will stop the build-up of any kind of bacterial diseases that could attach themselves to the inner branches and stems. And during the summer month, this will probably either green out or the stems will stay clear depending on the plant. But on the outside you can see it's absolutely wonderful, and it will definitely bounce back. So if you do see dieback on your conifers, don't threat too quickly. There's dieback on this bush, you can see here too. This all falling off. And also on the pine tree behind, you can see there's dieback at the bottom. So it's either the tree switching out its needles, leaves, and rejuvenating itself, or clearing itself out to allow for light and airflow. And of course, in some situations, it will be bacterial disease, fungal disease, and too late to save. But you'll have to figure that out in your circumstance and see what the situation is. But I just wanted to say that during the winter time, it is quite common for evergreen plants to have browning areas on them as they shed needles and leaves. So now we'll just have a little quick look around at some of the other evergreen plants in this area. There are so many that I actually can't possibly show you them all in detail in this video. So we're going to have a race around now, have a look at some of the last plants so that Joachim and I can enjoy our day out here in this park here in Alnarp. So let's go. Here, another juniper bush. Lovely little bush here. Look at this lovely, looks like a Pinus mugo mops. Let's have a little look. Yes, it is Pinus mugo mops. I love this tree or this bush. We have some of these in our garden as well. And they have these lovely little pine cones. If you come in closer, Joachim, you can see here. Isn't that cute? So we'll carry on in here. And look at these. It looks like little peas on this beautiful juniper bush here. This is the name of it here. So look at these little pea pods. These little seed pods that look like little peas. Aren't they cute? And we'll carry on in here. More different pines. This is another one with very small needles on it. Cute. So this shows you that there are so many different types of pine trees with smaller needles that are only a couple of centimeters long, to some that have needles that could be as long as this. Carrying on around here, lots more beautiful. Now look at this one with these beautiful needles on it. Abies cone colour. Absolutely beautiful. So we carry on around here. You can see lots more different beautiful big trees. Lovely. So here we have another type of beautiful plant. Smaller roundish kind of leaves, shiny. Look how it spreads out and cascades. That's a lovely contrast to all the different conifers that are around about here. I am really enjoying my day out here, and I know Joachim's loving it too, walking around with me, looking at all these evergreen plants. Some of the trees are really big. For example, this one, look how big it is, and look at the trunk on it. It has a lovely streaky trunk. Come in and have a look, Joachim. So this is the name of the tree. And look at the trunk. What a beautiful design on that trunk. Lovely. I do like that. And then there's a bigger one at the back here. Look at this stem on this tree. Oh wow. The brown colour and how it goes all the way up into the canopy. Gorgeous. It's like it goes on and on forever. I kind of feel like I'm in the redwood forest in California right now when I see a trunk on a tree like this. That's just beautiful. So here we have another interesting tree, and look at this trunk. Again, this lovely reddish colour. Beautiful style, interest, and then the branches seem quite thick but thin as they spread out along the edges of this beautiful tree. And let's try and get a picture of some of the leaves on it. They look like this. That's an absolutely beautiful tree too. It just seems like we could go on forever in this evergreen park here. So inspiring for me and my garden, and I hope this has inspired you to get out and wander around in the middle of winter and see everything that's green that's going on. If you live in an area with a colder climate, we too can enjoy an evergreen winter. And in the distance and in the distance here you can see Joachim. He's hiding behind this big yew tree. Capture him. Here, got him. Hi Joachim, say hi to the camera and the whole wide world that want to see your face. So here we have another wonderful ground covering plant, and I love the leaves on this plant because they kind of remind me of water lilies. Look at the shape of those. They're really beautiful. They're shiny, they're thick. They really look like a kind of water or bog kind of plant. But these are just growing here on the ground under some trees and looking gorgeous in the middle of January. So shiny and beautiful. So a perfect ground cover for the winter time. Here we have a lovely big bush. This is one of my favorite evergreen bushes, and I have two examples of this in Joachim's corner in our garden. We have the name here. They have these big kind of leathery looking leaves, and they're a little bit rough, and on the back They're a much lighter colour. Look at these. Really beautiful. Turn them around. And they have hairy kind of stems, and the new leaves that come out are kind of hairy. Look at that. Just a beautiful plant. And this plant gets white flowers all over it in the summer months. And then it gets berries, red berries all over it. Red blackberries all over it later on in the season. One of my favourites, and very hardy. So here we have another beautiful big stand of Mahonia. Another plant that gets lovely yellow flowers all over. Look at the size of this. It's just beautiful. I know I keep saying everything's beautiful, but they are. And here you can see some of the yellow flowers are actually already starting to emerge now in the middle of January. So here I found another fantastic ground covering plant, and this is also another plant I have in my garden, in the botanical garden. This plant is amazing because it's usually green in the summer, and then as it comes into autumn it will turn more red, yellow colours. And there are many different varieties of this plant, and some have more red veining in them, some of them stay much more green. They have different colour flowers, from pink, yellows, purples. Absolutely beautiful. And they can cover a large area of the ground, as you can see here. And I do like this border here with the rocks around the edge. I have a lot of borders with rocks around the edge in my garden, so it reminds me of my garden, this. And this is one wonderful plant to plant in, around and under trees and bushes and ornaments and stones, as you can see here. And evergreen all winter here in the south of Sweden. Amazing. And then another well-known ground covering plant here. I do like the shape of the leaves on these. Different shape. And then they flower, and they're starting to get their flowers on them already now. So amazing what you can find in the middle of January that is even coming into flower. Just want to pan around a little bit here. Lots of different varieties of rhododendron in this area. That's something that I've filled my garden out with, because rhododendron, they have so many different colour flowers, and I've collected so many different colours. And then we have this beautiful plant that I have in my garden too, with the red flowers that come out in the winter months. These can also be found with white flowers now. Lovely bush with shiny leaves all over as well, and it stays just so lustrous all winter. So now Joachim and I, that's Joachim in front of me, are on our way down to look for one of the giants that grow as an evergreen tree. But first of all, I just want to show you this beautiful tree here. This is a pine tree that I have in my own garden, in the inner garden, and they can get really big. They have beautiful trunks. Look at the canopy of this tree, and look how tall it is. Gorgeous, huge and lots of colour. Perfect as a hugging tree. So we'll carry on around past this building here forward and try and find a tree that is very well known in California, USA. As we go, I just want to show you some of the evergreens around here as well. It should be just down here around the corner. Look at these beautiful bushes as we go along. Here we have the boxes along the edge here. Look at this lovely red coloured building. This is very traditional in Sweden to have buildings that are made of wood that are painted red. And then there are more buildings here in the Alnarp Park. As I said, this is also a part of the Swedish University of Agriculture here in southern Sweden. Very well known. And even here, some of the evergreen plants we have a kind of rhododendron here. I do love rhododendrons and I have a lot of those in my garden. This is the name of this rhododendron. And it already has a lot of flower buds on it, ready to come out in the spring. So now we have reached the tree that I wanted to show you, and here is the name of it. This tree is well known in California in the redwood forests. And well, look at the bark to start with. It's kind of, I don't know, it's just like, there's a lovely energy in this tree. And it's warm, it's got a lovely texture, beautiful colours. And this is just a little baby. This tree can get enormous. And as you saw from the name, it's a tree that can get extremely big in the US. And I haven't been to California to see these trees yet, but I can't wait for the day that I manage to get there and see this tree. Probably more than 1,000 times bigger than this one here. Look at this. So as I said, this is only small here compared to how big these trees can get, but it's amazing. So I just wanted to make this video for you all and give you some inspiration of all the different types of evergreen plants that can be found round and about, even in the south of Sweden here, and anywhere you live where there's a colder climate, you can still find so many different varieties of evergreen plants to plant in your garden. And I just wanted to finish off with this wonderful tree here because there aren't many of this specific type of tree that you'll find here in Sweden, but there are some examples and they are growing and they are beautiful and well, they're just so inspiring. And well, get out and hug a tree. Feel the energy. Trees are full of the most amazing energy. I feel so happy when I hug a tree. And why not? Just release your mind and let yourself feel happy in nature. So this is the end of the video. Me and Yorkin want to carry on now out on our walk today and enjoy everything that's going on around us and absorb ourselves in this lovely winter evergreen wonderland. So all I have to say now is thank you very much once again for watching Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson. Please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you know when my next video will be coming up, and I will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.